Hello, Bronx Middle School Math. We are doing an amazing problem. I love this problem. This problem is phenomenal because it does it all. Adding fractions, multiplying fractions, comparing fractions, mixed numbers. This problem does it all. It's amazing. So if you are in 5.6, watching this video is your homework, and I'm going to be giving you a phrase in the middle or at the end, at the beginning, 1/3, 4/6. You don't know when I'm going to say it. I'm going to be saying it sometime in this video, and you need to send me the message of the phrase. I'm going to say, this is a phrase you need to message me. If you're in 5.6, message me that phrase, email it to me, message it to me. That is your homework. If you do not send me the message, you didn't watch the video, you get a 0. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. All right, but if you're not in 5.6, you're watching this video because you are a high flyer, you want some extra practice, you want to see how it's done. Let's do it. So, this question. Pause the video and read the question. Sharon and Gregory are using their entire train rides to do a little extra studying. Amazing scholars, high flyers, just as yourselves because you're watching this video. They are using their study plans to determine who had the longer commute. So we are comparing who had the longer train ride, who spent more time studying, Sharon or Gregory. So the question is asking us, how long did they spend studying? How long is their train ride? And then we need to compare Sharon's time to Gregory's time. To solve for that answer, we are going to convert each subject's time into minutes. Then we're going to add them all up. And then at the end, we are going to compare who had the longer ride, Sharon or Gregory. So let's begin. Sharon, she started off doing half an hour in science. And here I have a little chart. This entire pie is 60 minutes. And it told us that Sharon spends half of it in science. So if half an hour, I split it right down the middle. How much is half of an hour? 60 divided by 2. So this is what it would look like when we multiply 1/2 times 60. When we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. 1 times 60 equals 60. 2 times 1 equals 2. 60 over 2. That is the same thing as 60 divided by 2 equals 30. So each section, 1/2, each little piece is going to be 30 minutes. Scholars, if I'm going too fast, that is because you have the capability to pause this video. Take notes and pause videos when you are writing. Pause the video while you are writing. All right, 30 minutes. We solved that one pretty quickly. Now, they gave us a little gift, a little blessing. They already did math for us. 12 minutes. I'm offended by how short that is, but hey. It doesn't hurt my feelings too bad. Now let's move on to literature. 1/3 of an hour. Let's go back to our pie chart. And so there are 3 pieces. 1/3, the denominator was 3. So that means we are going to have 3 pieces in our pie. And that's going to look like a little hippie sign. Little peace sign. Okay. And it was 1/3. So we want to know how much is in one piece of the pie. So let's go and do 1/3 times 60. And we did 60 would be, that's a terrible 0, over 1, because that equals 60 divided by 1. And how many times does 1 go into 60? 60. So we do that to make it even, make it balanced and aesthetically pleasing when we're multiplying. So when we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. 60 times 1 equals 60. 3 times 1 equals 3. 60 over 3 is the same as 60 divided by 3. So how many times does 3 go into 60. So the simplified version of 60 over 3 equals 20. So each section is worth 20 minutes. So 1/3 is 20 minutes. Let's write that down. Okay, now on to history, 2/6. Before we can figure out how many minutes Sharon spent on history, let's look at 2/6. That is a fraction that needs to be simplified. And when we simplify a fraction, we use the common factor. So what factor do 2 and 6 have in common? Let's look at the factors for 2. It's going to be 2 times 1 equals 2. So 2 and 1 are the factors. Let's do 6. 6 times 1 equals 6. So 6 and 1. And then 3 times 2 equals 6. So which factors do they have in common? 2 is the common factor. So we are going to divide the numerator and the denominator by the common factor, which is 2. So 2 divided by 2 equals 1, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we just solved for 1/3 of an hour. It's 20 minutes. Sharon's was pretty easy to do. So 20 minutes. Now, what's the next step in our game plan? Add up all of the minutes. So let's add up all of Sharon's minutes and figure out how much she spent on homework. I'm going to erase this so I have room to work. Okay. So Sharon did 30, 12, 20, and 20. 82 minutes. So if I did 60 my bad, that would need to be 82 minus 60. I would have 22 minutes left over. So that would be 1 hour and 22 minutes. But let's get that in a fraction. I want the fraction of that. So 82 minutes, 60. How many times does 60 go into 82? 1 time. So we're going to do 60 times 1, subtract the difference, and we're left with 22. How many times does 60 go into 22? It can't. 60 is bigger than 22. So 22 is our remainder. So we are going to put 22 over 60. But guess what? We could simplify that fraction. We can simplify 22 over 60. A common factor would be 2. So the simplified version of that fraction would be 1 and 11 over 30. Both are equivalent to each other. So let's go write down those findings next to Sharon's times. 1 and 11 over 30, or also known as 11 and 22 over 60. All right, great, not too bad. So now let's go to Gregory's. Gregory spent 3/12 of an hour on science. Okay, I want y'all to simplify 3/12. Simplify 3/12 and then start the video when you're done. Okay, go ahead and start the video and let's see if you simplified 3/12 correctly. So remember, when we're simplifying, we want to use the common factor. So for 3, the only factors we have for 3 is 3 times 1 equals 3. And let's do 12's factors. So 12 times 1 equals, my bad, y'all. 12 times 1 equals 12. 6 times 2 equals 12. And 3 times 4 equals 12. So what is the common factor between 3 and 12? What factor do they share? 3 doesn't have 6 or 2 or 4 or 12. It is going to be 3. So we are going to divide the numerator and denominator by the common factor, which is 3. So 3 divided by 3, 12 divided by 3, and we get 3 divided by 3 is 1, 12 divided by 3 is 4, 1/4. Now, I have a story for y'all. If you look down at the time, you will see that it is 5:15. The reason why I am filming this video so late is because I actually started filming after school, or after my math class. I started filming around 3:30. I filmed it, I loaded it up, and then I went to check to see if it worked. I had my microphone off the entire time I filmed it. I spent, I think, over an hour filming the first video. And I go back and I realize my microphone was off the entire time. So, if you are in 5.6, email me. If you are in 5.6, the message you need to email me is, Miss Tharp, your microphone is off. That is what you are messaging me if you are in 5.6. If you want, this is your homework, 5.6. If you want credit, 5.6. You need to message me, Miss Tharp, your microphone is off. Because I spent over an hour filming a video. A silent video. How 1920s of me, a silent movie. So that is the message that you are sending me if you're in 5.6. That is your homework. All right, continuing. We are now looking at how long is 1/4 of an hour. So let's go back to my pie, and I'm going to cut it up into different pieces now. I'm going to do 4 pieces because the denominator tells us how many pieces of the pie there are. So since it's 1/4, there are 4 pieces. And the numerator tells me how many pieces I have. So I have 1 out of 4. So we are going to be looking at 1/4 of an hour. Excuse me as I make room for our math work. If you need these in your notes, this is on YouTube, so just rewind the video, pause it, and write them down in your notes. The purpose of this video is to benefit you. So you are not just simply watching, scholars. You need to be taking notes and writing down everything that I am saying and doing so that you can learn how to do it yourself, because I'm not going to be doing the exam for you. 1/4 times 60 minutes. And we're going to put 60 over 1. So 1 times 60, 60. 4 times 1, 4. So that is the same thing as 60 divided by 4. How many times does 4 go into 6? 1 time. And we are left with a remainder of 2. Bring down that 0. How many times does 4 go into 20? 5 times. 4 times 5 equals 20. We have no remainder left. So 60 over 4 simplifies into 15. So 1/4 of an hour is 15 minutes. Okay, now we're moving on to 1/5 of an hour. 1/5. So I need to cut my pie differently. So 1/5. The denominator tells me how many pieces there are. So this one's going to be tricky. I'm not sure. That is terrible, y'all. That was probably the worst. Okay, hopefully this won't be better. Okay, not bad, not bad. So the denominator tells me how many pieces there are, 5. And the numerator tells me how many pieces I have. And I have 1/5. So let's figure out how much that section is. 1/5 times 60 over 5, which is the same as 60 divided by 5, which is 5 times what equals 60? Your timetables, 12. So the reduced version of 60 over 5 is 12. So Gregory spent 12 minutes on math. Okay. Now let's go and see how many minutes he spent on literature. He did 1/12. So let's go and do, I'm going to make some room. If you need that, rewind and pause the video. 1/12 times 60 equals 60 over 12. So that would be the same as 60 divided by 12 equals, which is, we can do 12 times what equals 60? 5. 5 times 12 equals 60. So the reduced version of 60 over 12 is 5. So Gregory, he only spent 5 minutes on literature. 5 minutes. Either he is really confident or he is missing some homework. 4/6. So let's figure out how much is 4/6 of an hour. But wait, I need to simplify that fraction. Pause the video and come up with the common factor. Start the video when you're ready. So the common factor is going to be 2. 4 divided by 2 equals 2. 6 divided by 2 is 2/3. So let's go to our pi and remake it. So 2/3. The numerator tells us how many pieces we have, and the denominator tells us how many pieces there are total. So 2/3, that means that there are 3 pieces total, and we have 2 of them. So I need to figure out how much is in 2/3 of the pi. I'm going to do some erasing so that I have room to work. If you need this, rewind. Okay. 2/3 times 60. 2 times 60 equals 120. 3 times 1 equals 3. That's the same as 120 divided by 3. How many times does 3 go into 1? It can't. Put a 0 there. Bring over the 2. How many times does 3 go into 12? 4 times. 4 times 3 equals 12. Subtract. Bring down the 0. How many times does 3 go into 0? 0. So 120 divided by 3 equals 40. So 120 over 3 is simplified into 40. So he spent 40 minutes on history. So now we need to add up all of the time Gregory spent on all the subjects. So or 72, I apologize, 72. So 72 minus 60 is 12. So that's 1 hour and 12 minutes. 1 hour and 12 minutes. So let's figure out the fraction of that. So that would be 72 divided by 60. 60 goes into 72 one time. Subtract, and 12 is the remainder. So we are going to put the remainder over 60. Can I simplify that fraction? Yeah, let's just do divided by 2 and see what happens. That would be 6 over 30. Okay, I can simplify that again. Okay, so the simplified version all the way down is 3 over 15. But if I remember what we did for Sharon, we did 11 over 30. So if I want to be able to compare directly with Sharon's, I'll use 6 over 30. That allows me to compare directly with Sharon. So who had the longer commute? Sharon or Greg? Sharon, because look, she had 11 out of 30. Since the denominators are the same, we just compare the numerators. 11 and 6. Which one is greater? Sharon. 11 is greater than 6. Or we could just compare it by the minutes. Sharon had 82 and Gregory had 72. So let's go and answer the questions. Based on the study times, who had the longer commute? Sharon. She had 82 minutes or 1 hour and 22 minutes or 1 and 11 over 30. How much more time does Sharon spend on the train each morning? She spends 10 more minutes than Greg. Let's write that out. I want to make it neat. All right, scholars. We did a pretty good job of solving that. Remember, you need to be taking notes when watching these videos, pausing it, making sure you understand. These videos are here to help you walk through these problems. I recommend pausing the videos, doing it yourself, and then checking your work with the video and seeing how I got the answers. 5.6, please do not remember to email me and put the comment in the Google Classroom, okay? Y'all have a great night.